Hey everybody. So I'm coming on live to just share still my reclamation journey because that's what we're doing, right? So I know I skipped a couple days because things have been busy, and I was getting ready to start the reclamation, which began yesterday. Today's Wednesday, so yes, yesterday. And it was so good, like talking about basically the week one is like the remembering. So you can't really move forward unless you look at what is actually going on and get really honest about it. And it came at a perfect time with a new moon, because like when you're trying to manifest things into your life and you're trying to like bring forth this new version of yourself and things like that, it's really good to like take stock of what actually is going on, maybe, So I did some of that yesterday, and I've just been in a place of like, it's funny because I'll be like, I had a meltdown on this day. And it's like, the meltdown was like an hour maybe. And it wasn't really like a full on meltdown where I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. It was like, I am feeling some kind of a way, so I'm going to journal about it and I'm going to work through whatever the fuck is happening, right? So I did a lot of that on Sunday because I have a lot of, stuff that comes up around making money, stuff that comes up around, like getting in shape even. It's really interesting, and I'm not like horribly out of shape, right? And I've been working out, and I've been I would say honoring my body more than I have in the past, where I have been like punishing myself with workouts. I've been pushing myself really hard with weight training because I want to, and it feels good right now. And then there's other days like yesterday. Yesterday I did upper body. I don't even know what day it is or what is going on, to be honest. Just to be real. And that's how I like to live my life. So whatever. But, I did like upper body yesterday, but I also did a core workout, which is much more gentle. And I have avoided doing core work for a long time. Like I just avoided it, because I know that traditional core work that a lot of people do is like not going to be beneficial for me because I have diastasis recti, which is like where your abs have separated, because I had twins. And then, I had 3 more pregnancies after them. Well, no, 4 pregnancies after them, 3 more babies that made it after them. And, so my abs are shot to shit at this point. It's just what it is. But I was like, I really need to start doing that kind of work. And I avoided it for a long time because, one, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything, first of all. It's like the workouts are so boring. Like, I love to do a hard weightlifting session more so that, like, I fucking hate cardio. I would rather, like, for cardio, I'm like, I'll just have sex. I don't want to run. Like, no, get that far away from me. Some people love running. I am not one of those people. And for, and I like doing stretching. I like doing yoga, different things like that. But like core work, I used to do like Pilates and stuff sometimes, which I really enjoyed, but I just know that like my abs need to essentially rehab, right? And I have just not wanted to do these workouts because literally it's like breathing. It's so crazy. But that's one of those things where it's like, I have been breathing wrong for like a long time, just breathing incorrectly, right? You breathe more into your shoulders, or you breathe more like just in your chest, or, you're not taking advantage of your whole like pelvic floor, rib cage, everything, how you're supposed to. Like, you should be expanding everything instead of breathing like up. And that's caused a lot of issues for me physically, like, and I'm sure emotionally, whatever, like all kinds of things. Cause when you're not breathing well, it like is a problem. And it could definitely stress you the fuck out. Right. So, I realized, like, I got on here with like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I know I just feel the need to go live right now. But, kind of, I guess where this is leading me to is like, I realized at a certain point that breathing for a lot of women has become a thing where we do it a certain way based on like societal standards of what we're supposed to look like, right? So we have been essentially trained to breathe incorrectly because we are supposed to keep our stomach sucked in all the time. Like, you're not allowed to let it out. And that is like, honestly, one of the things that I have loved every time I've gotten pregnant. I have loved the aspect of like, I don't have to hold my stomach in, right? Especially after having the twins and having my abs being all fucked up, because like I drink a sip of water and suddenly I look like I'm pregnant again. And I'm like, what is going on? Even when I get like smaller, like at my smallest before I had this last baby, I was like a size 2, and I still, man, drink the water and there goes, it just expands because your abs are not like holding in place how they're supposed to. And so I created a lot of tension in my body because of that. And like the way that we dress, everything is so restrictive and tight. And then you have to keep it sucked in because, you're supposed to be a certain way and all these things. And so like we have been essentially subconsciously holding our breath for like a long time because of caring about whatever this certain standard is. And I see a lot of things more recently where people are, talking about how the lower belly, like pooch or whatever that women have, it's like, that is literally there because that's where our uterus is, and we're trying to get rid of it all the time. We're trying to have a flat stomach. And it's like, if you ever look at a sculpture or a painting or whatever of like goddesses and stuff, they don't fucking look like that. They don't have a flat stomach. They always have that little like pooch there because it protects our uterus. Like, what are we doing? And also, why are we so concerned with what we look like that we don't allow ourselves to breathe correctly? Like, what is that? Why do we do that? And so I have been definitely like focusing more on my breathing. I have been definitely like wearing looser clothing, doing, different things. I'm doing like core work, but I'm also doing pelvic floor release. So people have become fucking obsessed with Kegels, right? Like, we have to do them, especially after having a baby. Make sure you're doing your Kegels because you want to get everything all tight and back to where it was and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, actually, tightness in your pelvic floor is not a good thing. Like, I mean, it's not a good thing. It's not a healthy thing. It's not to our benefit whatsoever. Having a strong core is definitely to our benefit. Healing your ab separation, definitely to our benefit. But pelvic floor tightness is like not the way to go. And this is, this is like taking all kinds of tangents. I don't even know where we're going with this. So just hang tight for this ride because it's getting crazy. But that is another like misconception thing. We always talk about like how tight our vagina is supposed to be, right? And I don't even want to use that word because I don't like what it means, but that's the anatomically correct word. I'll say yoni because I like that better. It's like a temple. But we, there's this thing about like, make sure it's tight and everything. And that is so perpetuated by like men, obviously, and their, own insecurities if we're being honest. And then they try to shift that onto us so that we have an insecurity of like, oh, no, like we have to keep our shit a certain way, right? And it's like, actually, if anybody knew anything about sex, we would be having a very different conversation, because it's not about having a tight hoo-ha. It's not. It's about engorgement. Like when you are actually turned on, when like things have led to that moment, when things have like are heating up, right? And you're getting love and attention and affection and like all these things, and you feel very safe. Like that's what happens. And so thank God some women are talking about this, of like how, you know, for men, it's like an instant thing that happens. It's like they're ready to go. For women, it's like can take us a while to get there. And it's because we need that connection first, right? And so it's so important, though, to talk about this, because I feel like what we are told to strive for is so unhealthy for us. We should not be keeping our stomachs sucked in. We should not be doing 1 billion Kegels a day to try and keep things, you know, however they're supposed to be. Like, we should be allowing ourselves to breathe correctly. And I have found personally with doing breathing exercises, oh my God, look at this. Look at this. I did not cut bangs. This is postpartum hair regrowth. That's just like wild right now. All these little tiny short hairs are crazy. But that's what happens when you have a baby. All your hair falls out and then it regrows, and then you have little baby hairs, and that's why all of us mothers look crazy all the time. But it's like when we can allow ourselves to breathe, like sex is better. And this is what women that actually know what the fuck they're talking about will tell you. It's what they will teach. There's this really phenomenal teacher of all things sex. Her name is Kim Anami, and she's incredible. But she talks about like focusing on your breath during sex and focusing on relaxing and opening and all these things. And so that's another thing, is guys will say things talking about how your vagina is supposed to be tight and everything. And actually, when a woman is turned on and wants to welcome you into her temple, like she will open, not contract and close. She will open to you. And, but with the opening comes the engorgement. And so it feels tighter, but it's not. It's actually a relaxation and like a, sorry, I'm getting hair in my hair, or in my mouth. It's actually a relaxation. And when you can learn how to breathe, like your orgasms will be so much better. I'm just telling you. So much better. So much better. They will be like next level. When you're feeling like you're getting in that place, your body's tensing up, if you can breathe deeply and like expand your pelvic floor with your breath, so good. I'm telling you, just believe me and try it. But the point is, you know, I was talking about all these things that we do. Like the other day when I went live, I was talking about how these certain guys were saying that women should just admit that we do our hair for men. And I was like, shut the fuck up, because no, we don't. This is how I look right now. My hair, I did not do anything to it today. I just took a shower after working out, and here we are. This is so gorgeous. But it's like, we don't do that. We don't need to do our makeup for men. We can. If you have a guy and you want to do it for him, great. But, like, honestly, this, do you see it? Sweatpants, big sweatshirt. I'm wearing my husband's sweatshirt. But like a guy that really loves you, this is how he'll love you, because this is just me. I've just been momming all day. I've just been, you know, doing the thing and taking care of myself and taking care of the kids and like good enough, you know? Not even good enough, but great. Some of the most amazing compliments I've ever gotten from him have been when I have looked like a complete and total hot mess, because that is what the point that I was making. When a man really loves you, like I was talking about, he'll let you have a voice, right? But he'll also appreciate you for when you're just you, when you just look like you. Not like this done up, whatever we have to try to pretend to be, but like just you, you know? Like, honestly. And I've been watching a lot of Love Island lately because I have never watched it and now I'm binging it. But like, even with that, I've only watched a season and a half so far, but what I have watched, you know, like a couple of the guys, the comments that they make to the girls that they're with is like, I like you better without your makeup. And I think that's what every guy, I'm not going to speak for men. I'm not going to do that. But from my experience, that's what the guys that are actually invested in who you are as a person, they'll like you better without your makeup on. I'm just saying. So you don't need to do all that. But then now let's talk about this other aspect of what our body is supposed to be, right? And especially when it comes to sex, it's supposed to be this certain thing. But what is not being realized is that like relaxation and surrender as a woman is the most important aspect of sex. Really. And I'm not saying you can't be dominant sometimes, because I know I am sometimes, you know, it's like I would categorize myself as a switch or whatever, you know, where it's like sometimes I like to be dominated, sometimes I like to do the dominating. It's whatever. But surrender. You can even be surrendered when you're like, I don't know how graphic I want to get on here, but when you are helping out your man with your mouth, you know, like there's a certain aspect of surrender that plays into that, even though like you're technically the one that's in control, right? But still the surrender aspect is huge, and they love that. And that is like literally when my husband, when we were together for a while, but when he told me I was the most beautiful, like I looked terrible at the time, and he's like, you are the most beautiful person ever. And like everyone knows that you're beautiful, but like no one gets to see you like I do right now. And it was because I was totally surrendered to him, and we weren't even naked yet. So I'm just saying, surrender is the thing, ladies. Relaxing is the thing. Being so in love with yourself that you're turned on by yourself first is where it's at. Becoming your own muse. So that's all I have for you today. I'm going to go because I think I just heard him get home, so I'm going to go greet him. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.